last time on the Empire's Edge. It's not a place of safety now, though, so I think we should move.
I have been going back and forth in my head as far as do I want to finally dress like a noble when I go to do the archery contest, or do I want to dress up like I have been the entire time?
Well, they weren't very welcome here.
Well, I hate to say you wasted a trip, because I bet you wouldn't have signed up if you knew I was involved.
I mean, I'm not there, so I can't say it, but there was that other place that all the archers died.
Because Jacob just remembered this in this weird moment. He heard Zellen's voice echoing in his head. I tell him all about Shepton and the story from there.
Sir Jacob Treadstone of Warland!
Yeah, come on.
But you're also aware in the background that there is a definite boo. And the 12th, Bolt, at 0.
Oh, no.
But then you see that Larkin Silk and the Villaman they call Bolt walks up. Wow, Sir Jacob Treadstone, it was very, very nice to compete against you, and I'm pleased to see that you're still in the competition. And he nods toward the Villaman and says, we're both excited to see how well you'll perform tomorrow at the next stage of the competition. And then they walk off from you guys. Both Bolt and Larkin Silk walk away from you. What's your next course of action?
It's still early in the day, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it started at noon.
Oh, that's
so
right.
it's probably somewhere around 1-ish.
Well, for us, that was
early
up
mid-afternoon.
until 3 o'clock in the afternoon, or 3 o'clock in the morning
Right.
yesterday.
Yeah,
It's
it was
still
a
early in the day.
long day yesterday.
Yeah. Ooh. I want to track down Inda Nur because I want to talk to her about the Umber Hulks. So if I can see her in the immediate vicinity, I'll go over to her. If not, I'll just have to
All right.
ask a circus person.
Ask a circus person. Excuse me, are you a circus person?
I was about to say circus human, but then I remembered it's a fairly even mix of human and
Do you
not.
need an expert in tracking down people that don't want to be found?
I mean, if you're volunteering.
No, I'm not. I'm just asking.
You don't see an immediate area. I mean, she was right up there on the field, but it seems by the time all the congratulating started for those who were in it and the consoling for those that were eliminated in this first heat, that she went somewhere else. So you're going to have to ask someone.
Okay.
What's going on with all these like private pavilions with the Baron and the Tower Wizards?
It looks like each one is its own party, that there is entertainment, there's foodstuffs that are set out, a lot of movement, a lot of talk. And as you're aware of that, we'll keep some of those perception numbers from before, that there's a lot of armed people that are not part of the party that have its own like little palisade of people just protecting those that are on the inside having that party.
To keep the pores out of the rich area.
But it doesn't seem like they were just here for the archery contest. It's just like it's a day of partying has just started and they're...
Right, and they have their pavilions set up at each of those 3 areas on opposite sides of the main field and then at the one end of the one field.
Well, there might be other events, too.
Yeah.
I mean, so are any of them paying any attention to us?
in an archery contest?
I
just thought
The poor people. We were just talking about this.
in the opposite direction for the targets were set. Yeah, the opposite direction of that. So
man.
the 3 sides, not where arrows were flying forward.
Zrax are standing there like, they just shot Kevin.
Cheap seats, man.
Yeah, right.
Zelen, what did you say a moment ago?
Are any of them
expensive
paying
in
any
blood.
attention to us?
Not at this moment. So go ahead and do a new perception, makes the most sense, to determine if you see anyone in particular that's watching.
Yeah, or looking around for circus people, too.
11.
14.
27.
That was one better than your last perception.
That is quite the perception. That was a 19 natural for you.
Yeah.
That both Boris and Zelen are aware that there are people that look to be like looking for someone, looking for something, that you'll find some of those steely-eyed, mercenary type people that you realize just looking at you, but then after a moment, just look away and they're looking at something else now. Maybe they're not specifically looking at or for you, but they're very, would be intimidating for someone apart from the 3 of you.
Yeah,
but
they're looking at us because we're armed, not because we're us.
Quite possibly, yeah. That they're doing something, doing their job out there. But even with that massive, what was that you said, Zelen? 27. You don't note that there's anyone there that's watching you specifically that seems to have singled you out. I guess you'd be very clear on that. But there are people that are making note of how you're accoutred and anything else you might be doing.
Any circus staff in the vicinity?
Yes. So there are roustabouts that are re-securing a line to a peg.
Yeah. I'll go over to them. Any of you guys know where Inda Nur is? Looking to talk to her.
Let's see what their own knowledge base is. And he says, yes, Inda Nur, she's back over behind where all the big cats are. lot of sleeping quarters. A lot of people have little camps set back that way. You should find her somewhere in there, giving some orders, talking about moving some things around.
Thanks. Do you guys want to come with?
Yeah, I want to stay with you because as I recall, I don't have my armor on. I'm in a flip-flacking
you
dress.
were prepared to like hit yourself with bark skin right as soon as things went to.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I'm in full gear.
Right. I'm
Because
staying
I
with
didn't
you.
want to be caught without my armor again.
And I'm
That
in full gear
sucked.
too, technically, because we've talked about how fancy my armor looks.
Yeah,
So,
right.
That's all.
Swanky
all-
ambassador armor.
Look at me.
Wonder why the guards accosted you back.
Because I was drunk and had a dog. I don't know.
So after a few minutes of moving around, you get past where a number of things that are set up on the pavilion periphery, where there'd be things you could eat and different games and carnival games you could play. You get behind that and you get into this little sea of tents, impromptu tents, lines set up with various kinds of cloth hanging from them, just to separate one area from the next area. And it looks as though a lot of people that work at the circus are camped out in this area that's between some of the side fairways and this main pavilion area. And it looks like it's just a total maze of cloth as you're kind of pushing through that, looking through that. But then you do catch sight of Inda Nur, just really at the top of her head. But you note it because as she's talking, there's like a frill of feathers that's like kind of like bobbing, moving, and it's tall, it's large, and you realize that she's talking to one of the Umber Hulks. And as she's talking to it, it seems to be nodding its head, or maybe in a way, its whole upper body. And so you're seeing that crest.
Yeah, how much neck is there on a bug?
Yeah,
It's a
and,
good active listener too.
and then it'd be good
With
on a
its
date.
whole exoskeleton.
And then it is moving off in a direction that would be, if anything, heading down toward the direction of where the not the Rhazia Wizards, where the
Baron?
the Baron is set up. Yeah, that they're heading in that general direction, or it is heading in that general direction. You'll
to
lose
know
track
that-
of her again, but if you start flat hitting through more of these little open camp areas,
Yeah.
and there's the occasional person, but it's pretty much empty. It's
Yeah,
just like day gear.
Still
camp
maneuvering
gear.
to her. It's good
Do
to
we-
know that the Umber Hulks at least are reasonably intelligent.
Do we know enough about their mannerisms to be able to kind of understand based on how they're walking in the direction they're going, what kind of orders they were given, like the kind of not necessarily exactly what they were told to do, but kind of the like content of it, like how do I say that?
do
Like,
that
Get a
as
sense of its
do
mood.
it as a survival, as you're looking at how its joints work and this way that it's moving.
trying to figure out,
posture.
was he just told to go refill the cucumber sandwiches, or was he told to go commit murder?
Or eat the cucumber
So,
sandwiches.
so those are both evil things, right? If he's actually reading the cucumber sandwiches,
What do you
is
have
evil.
against cucumber sandwiches?
It's not sharing them is the evil part. That is a natural 19
Oh.
for a 26.
Well, then call me evil.
The way that it moves, what you've gauged by it, you think that this thing could actually go fairly low to the ground if it wanted to, like in essence, like on all of its limbs, or it could move upright like any other, like a bipedal. It's not moving in a way to hide itself in this area, so it's moving very openly, and it doesn't seem to be moving like it's just like stomping straight through something. It's about to grab something. It looks like he's going off to do some potentially mundane task.
Okay, that's good.
And again, as you pass through this different area, there's all this stuff that would be like for food preparation, camp stuff, the occasional hatchet, a knife, bits of rope, things like that as you're moving through. And it's very much the same one to the next to the next. And you think you might lose track of her where she's gone.
How
Jacob-
far away were we?
You were about 60 feet from her when you saw her talking and the thing moving away.
But because there's so many people, it's like difficult terrain, kind of. We got to
Well,
bob and weave
just
through all
there
these areas.
wasn't. It's just kind of a messy area,
Yeah.
not like heavily populated.
Well,
Okay.
and that you're ducking underneath lines that have like tarps across them to set.
That's the maze
separate
attempts you were
different-
talking about.
right? Yeah.
if we're that close, I'm just going, hey, Inda.
Okay, yeah. Then she straightens up and looks over in your direction, and gives you a wave on, and then points off to her right, which would be away from the pavilion. from
Yeah,
your
I
point of view.
acknowledge and circle in the indicated direction.
All right, so then you both break through different areas that are tarped, and you're in. It isn't a relatively clear area; it's actually fairly tight. That it's an area with these impromptu barricades, and she's right there. There's a little bit of like a campfire that's burned low. It's just coals, and she tosses a couple small pieces of wood on it, and it starts to pick back up. And she says, "What can I do for you?"
I'm hoping you could make an introduction between me and the circus boss. I've got a job idea I want to run past him.
Yang Bontil?
Yeah.
Why is that? And she's doing an insight on you.
I'll do an insight right back.
All right.
19.
You're two very insightful people.
Yes, she's trying to gauge whether or not or why you would want to meet with Yang Bontil. She herself does not roll all that well. She actually rolled fairly low.
Yeah, but
So you're something more of a mystery.
I think in just kind of my posture where we are, that I didn't go through more official channels because I could have found him through the Duke, no problem. I think implicitly, and I'm not trying to hide
The Baron?
that.
Oh, you're doing it
No,
too.
you're
Nice!
Oh, no.
I've infected
Nice.
you.
Great. Okay, I'm an Oathbreaker now. I'm going to go rampage through in my shame.
It's that easy.
Yeah, truly. Basically, it was like, I don't feel like being a nice guy anymore. Smack. Anyway, that I've been fairly open with my implication that this is something a little more covert or off the books.
She just says, hunker down here by the fire.
And I do.
And does the rest of the party do the same?
Yeah, I wish there was something that I could do so I could know if somebody was listening in on us.
Well, you can take a position somewhere else, like not right by that fire if you want to
Yeah.
have a
Magical
more of a
means?
lookout point.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Yeah, I would like to do something, maybe like kind of circle around where they're talking so I can kind of bump some of the cloth to see if somebody's squatting behind one of those pieces
Okay,
of cloth.
roll an
or-
investigation as you're moving around that way. But the two of you, Jacob and Boris both,
Yeah,
you
I'll sit down with
take a
them.
knee down where she is. Okay.
18 plus stuff.
Rolling rocks today.
I'll say, yeah.
right?
So as you're moving it around, it looks pretty abandoned in this
Okay.
area. You're not getting that anybody's near right here, at least not right now.
Well, after the height of main performance and probably gearing up for whatever the evening show is, it makes sense.
Yeah. So she says to you, why do you want to meet with Yang Bontil?
For my own reasons, I need to make a move, and a strong move, against the Rhazia Tower.
She about chokes
Yeah.
when you say that. She stops and looks at you and say,
Yeah, I'm
And-
charismatic, not subtle.
and it's your goal then. You say meet. The reality is you mean kill. You want to meet with Yang Bontil because you want to kill him.
While I'm certain he's deserving of it somewhere, I don't have any ill will against him. I wanted to talk to him about the Umber Hulks.
What was the insight you made just a moment ago?
19.
You're gauging from that she is very serious, that the only reason why you don't be with Yang Bontil if you make a strong move against the Rhazia Wizards would be to kill him.
Why would we want to kill
He's-
him? What's his connection
He's the
with the
wizard's
Rhazia?
man.
And she says just that, because he is in the Rhazia Wizard's pocket. There's a schism through
So we
the
can't-
circus itself.
We can't work through him then.
Well, who's the head of the other side?
She smiles.
Would you like to make some money?
Always? What do you have in mind?
A double cross, essentially. One of the Rhazia faction, a mage called Cormac, wants us to retrieve an artifact for him from rivals.
Wait, you know a Rhazia Wizard's name?
Yes.
Proceed.
We intend, the arrangement is that they don't move against us or the Baron for the next 5 years.
Wait, if I can jump in, sorry, I'm going to continue to circle and pay attention. This is a really open conversation. I don't want anybody sneaking up on us and hearing this. And I don't know if I can use my magical powers to detect, like if a bird flies over, if it's a magic bird and somebody sent it to listen. I don't know if I can do any of those things, but if I can, I want to.
You'd need detect magic active, and you'd need to come within the radius of effect.
Yeah.
When it comes to critters that are flying about or that are overhead right now, there have been a lot of the scavenger birds, like crows, in the main fairways. But it seems as though the people that are around here keep their stuff fairly well put together, and it doesn't look as though there's a lot of birds or vermin that get into this area of the where the pavilion is. But got it. You are with that 20. No, what was your
27.
20? So what was that? Was your right. 27. That as you're like engaged in the conversation periodically, but you are in essence maintaining this
because
patrol circuit.
this is much more open and blunt than what I knew it was going to be. So yeah, if I have detect magic in one of the amethysts, so if there's a bird that just starts sitting somewhere,
It lasts for 10 minutes, so you can go ahead and start it now, and you can just be constantly washing over
right?
everything.
Oh, that's a good idea. Yeah, I'm going to do that.
Okay, go
What's
ahead.
its radius of effect?
60 feet?
Yeah, it's better than nothing.
Asked.
That's great.
I believe it.
With certainty.
I know it used to be.
Confident that what I just said made sense.
30 feet.
Still good.
Yeah.
Still really good.
Mhm.
Well, 30 feet plus, the 2 feet.
Yeah, that's still part of your
3 feet.
5 foot square.
And,
Oh,
she's moving in a circle too. So that's
Does the 30 feet count your 5 feet square? And it's like 25 feet away from you? Or
It's extending from the corner of your square.
Gotcha. Okay.
So it's 30 feet starting at the edges of your space.
yeah. It's very helpful for the
35
maps
feet.
that we use.
Yeah, right. All these Inviso maps.
mental maps.
Yeah.
So still nothing so far, Zelen.
Sorry, go ahead, Boris.
Yang Bontil, she said, it's gotten so bad here at the Rhazia the Iluzja that I was even considering breaking the circus in two.
One step at a time. That may still be a safe call. That wizard Cormac wants us to retrieve an artifact for him in exchange to keep him from moving into the Baron for the next 5 years. I don't trust him as far as I could throw him, and I don't think I could throw him all that far.
What thing?
The Eye of Bravis.
Impossible. You'd never make it through the gates.
He gave us tokens to get us into the tower through the servants' entrance.
Interesting.
What we need is a distraction. What I'd want is for a handful of the Umber Hulks to dig sapping tunnels under one of the minarets of the Veda Library and pull it down.
And again, just total stunned. That's all you're registering from her is she's shocked because when you're talking about what this plan is, she never expected something this big.
I don't want them fighting. I don't want them out in the streets. I don't want anything that tie them back to the surface. I just want, at a signal we establish, one of the towers to come down. Now, that's the plan as Cormac understands it. However, I don't trust Cormac, and I don't think the Rhazia Wizards would hold off on their attempts in any circumstance. So my offer is, you and 2 of your picked people, or 3 of your picked people, come with the 3 of us, using the 6 tokens we have, take as much as you carry from the Rhazia Tower, and then a team of Umber Hulks pulls that down as well.
You're talking about a direct assault on the Veda Library simultaneously with a direct assault from underground on the Rhazia Tower.
Maybe 10 minutes gap, but yes.
What keeps my Umber Hulks and my people from getting discovered and being implicated in all of this? Because when that comes down, it will come down like hammer on anvil.
We're arranging a few other events in the city to keep them elsewhere occupied, so that between the collapse and fallout of the tower at the Veda Library and then chaos in the streets generally, any of them in the area will be too occupied.
We also know that there's a city under this city, so your Umber Hulks may be able to get to a completely different location and come up someplace else, possibly even come up close to the walls and be back here by the circus.
So right after you say that, she turns, she's looking at all of you, turns back to Boris and said, I have got to make sure my people are safe. I've got to know that everyone in the circus, honestly, even if they don't back me, but everyone in the circus, this family, is safe. And this is looking so dangerous. I think I might need more. But when she gets to that point of saying more, Zelen, you note that something seems amiss just outside the area of where you guys are. It's not a magic detection. It was actually more of your perception from before, like in conjunction with what we tantamount to a nature check, that there's something that's wrong. And then you hear a voice and then another voice. And there seems to be an uproar around. Everyone go ahead and roll a new set of perceptions to see what you're picking up on.
18.
2 this time, so I'm at 10.
13.
Boris, you get the idea that you heard like a clink and then a sound that sounded like an animal, and then another one and a sound again. And it sounds to you like there are animals moving around outside of their cages.
You have big animals in this circus, don't you? Somebody's
Many.
releasing them.
What? And she
just heard the
jumps
sound.
up. Everyone rolling nits.
Ooh.
15.
16.
Nice.
That's good.
What do I add again to my...
Your dexterity
Dex mod,
modifier.
yeah.
I'm sorry, I never remember that. 6.
Look out for our first The Empire's Edge t-shirt where it's like, rolling nits. What do I add?
So do them again. Jacob, what was yours?
16.
And Boris?
15.
All right.
She's at 12. And Zelen, you said you were at 6?
Yeah. Am I allowed to cast Barkskin on myself right now?
I forget, is that a reaction or is that
It's
an action?
Yeah,
It's an action.
So whenever you get to your knit, you can do
Okay.
that. All right, so a few things happen at once. you hear the like the cry, not exactly a roar of a big cat, and then a lot of movement, and other animals are moving at the same time. You can see that there are things, the sound of animals running, not through like tearing it, but as they're hitting cloth and pushing into the next area. And then there's a lot of movement. It does seem as though somebody's released things from these, from the big cages. The fairway that has the large cat display is just adjacent to where you are right now. And as everyone's turning to move, Jacob, you're at 16. You see no particular foe. Do you take any kind of an action?
As soon as we didn't immediately go back to the horses and leave here when we were done, I thought I should at least go back to the horse to grab my arrows, to grab my good arrows. And we didn't. I didn't say it. But no, what I want to do now is I'll look around these tents. Are they all really just kind of hung up with string, or is there anything that's a bit sturdier that I might be able to climb up on to get a better, higher vantage point?
The nearest thing that would be at a higher vantage point would be probably about 25 feet away would be the cages themselves that are at the edge of that fairway.
Okay.
But that's a bit away. And it isn't like these are all tents either. Some of them are just like ropes hung up and then a tarp hanging over it, not even splayed out. So it just makes like a wall, like a cloth wall. So there are tents though too. It's just a mishmash of this.
That one thing that's 25 feet away, do I at least feel confident I could get a reasonable vantage point from it?
You get a fair vantage point.
Okay,
Yeah, there's
then
a lot of cover in this area,
Okay.
but yeah, you could.
I'll use my move to get over to it, and then I'll use my action to actually climb up it.
Okay, so
how much move do you have?
I have 30 feet of movement.
but
How tall are the cages?
the cages are 12 feet.
Oh yeah, so you could only get partially up with the rest of your move.
But even getting to it, as you're moving through this, unless you're just like flat heading through it, you're ducking under different lines. You're
It's like
pushing past
difficult
cloth.
terrain almost.
So it is, because you're not even seeing what area you're moving into as you're like pushing through that cloth like that.
Hi, Mr. Tiger. How are you?
But
You open up one of them, I'm like, oh, hi.
you start on your move. So as this starts to happen, Jacob, you the rest of you would note, he sees where those cages are, the tall things, and he's heading that direction. So he almost
Archer
immediately-
needs the vantage spot.
he disappears when he goes like sweeps himself. He'd be like under like lines of laundry that have like mostly sheets and blankets. That he's just gone. 15, Boris.
10-1. This is them, and you then kind of prepping for foes. This is the most open area I've seen, and I'm not sure what exactly to do with big cats.
They bleed the same, he yells as he's running.
Oh, don't kill him.
No, I was actually, I joke whenever he talks about like you can just choose to do non-lethal damage in 5e.
Yeah,
so I'm
right.
just firing my arrow, shoot right in the eye. Non-lethally.
Just knock it unconscious by shooting it in the back.
But so Boris, you're at a readiness state.
Yeah,
and you're right there. And
I'm suspecting sabotage, so I'm suspecting a target. Might be against the Rhazias. They've got their own protection, and I don't care if they get killed. If it's the Baron, he's got his own staff. Zrek's same, and I don't care if they get killed. All I know is there's very little security on the head of the Circus faction that I'm trying to ally with. So I think sticking around is my best call.
okay, got it.
So ready action to attack foe.
You're
Gotcha.
sticking, and Indira's still with us, or she's taken off too?
She hasn't taken off yet.
She hasn't moved
Okay,
yet. Yeah,
okay.
it's Inda now.
So I guess I'll
Inda, sorry.
be delaying my action then.
All right, and then at the very next round on 14, a thing comes bursting through between two of these cloth barriers in a leap. From the moment you see it, or any of you that are in that area still see it, it is moving airborne, but it has no wings, and it is going straight toward Inda Nur.
I move to interpose myself.
Good call.
Not enough time.
I can act it.
Oh, so you can even move at that point?
Yeah.
Yeah, when you delay, you're moving in the initiative order.
Yeah. So I see it moving at her, and I interpose because
Okay, so you
that's the
about,
whole point of my delaying action.
about 10 feet of your movement to put yourself in a position to interpose.
Yeah, no problem.
You're past that. She was turning and drawing weapon, but she isn't quite there. She's
Yeah,
at
I have a sword out, so-
12, yeah. And so then on, I guess, your armor class instead of hers. Oh, dang it. This would have hit her. I doubt it's going to hit you. What's your AC?
20.
Yeah, sorry.
Samesies.
Nice.
I ran away.
Oh, you got high ground so you could shoot things.
Yeah.
We're both doing tactically viable.
Which actually, since it was difficult terrain, I might have only made it to the base of the thing. So I'll have to use my move next round to get up on top of the thing and then
yeah, but still,
fire.
it's
Shoot.
yeah.
All right, so when this thing...
Bogo
it's-
twang.
It is
Bogo
at
twang.
a +5 to hit, which makes a 19.
Oh.
So it hits you.
No, my armor class is 20.
Well, I mean, it impacts.
contact,
It impacts on you. So I guess there'd be more of, because you would think it would just go and just like the two of you go ass over teacups. But there's nothing in the description of when this thing leaps in that it can actually do that. So you're standing still just straight up. Maybe it slid you back 6 or 8 inches.
Body checked it with a shield.
Yeah. That you
What I
moved-
just body check?
You rushed forward. It looks like it's a big cat, like a jaguar. Maybe a little larger than a typical jaguar, but
Okay.
a jaguar nonetheless.
But you said it looks like it is. What is it actually?
Yeah, right.
a jaguar.
It's one of the Rhazia Wizards,
And
right?
that was at 14.
Can I identify?
Let me make sure that it doesn't have something else you can do on this one. Multi-attack.
Does animal handling give me any advantage in actually handling animals?
It's really difficult to do when they're actively aggressive at you.
Yeah.
There's extra like numbers that are thrown in there to make it more difficult to do that.
It's like diplomacy, but for critters. And if
Yeah.
things trying to kill you, it's trying to kill you, and usually doesn't listen to you like talking it and like trying to soothe it.
If you roll a natural 20, then there's like a chance.
What's a sturge?
Sturge is like a vampire bat, had a kid with a mosquito, and then it got to be about the size of like a puma.
What's a pteranodon?
That's a dinosaur.
Pteranodon.
A kind of dinosaur.
A little dinosaur.
You're looking at all the things you
A
can summon?
kind of dinosaur.
So I want to read this out loud to make sure I'm getting this right. So this is its pounce ability. If this thing moves at least 15 feet straight toward a creature and then hits it with a claw, okay, that's it.
Yeah.
So didn't hit.
So it
then
did move,
it
but
would have done
didn't
something
hit.
DC saving throw
Yeah.
or be knocked prone. Yeah, all right. So that didn't happen by once. So if you didn't have your shield with you, or if you didn't have your
ring.
armor with you, the
if I didn't-
ring,
if I
any
didn't-
one of those things.
That ring
yeah.
you gave him.
He found it.
I will sword attack.
Oh.
All right,
But he's going to use the flat edge of the blade.
no, he
Yeah.
won't.
Yeah.
Well, technically, it's all lethal damage until I reduce it to 0. Then I can choose to just knock it out instead of kill it.
He's using the flat edge. It's the very, very skinny flat edge. It's just as wide as a razor blade.
Yeah.
right, so
My thought
twist it up.
is that a unmanipulated jaguar wouldn't just charge people like that. So either they've been already abusing the critter, which unfortunate, or magic shenanigans, and
Well, I'm
given
wondering
that
with
we have a
that-
population of dickish wizards.
With her detect magic still going on, did she get anything from the panther, leopard,
The
Jaguar.
when it-
No, nothing about that
Okay.
came through. Okay, Boris, twist it up.
Yeah. First is a natural 19 for a 28 versus
We are
armor class.
rolling
Hits.
so well
so,
right now.
Yeah, so good.
Second
I'm
one's a natural 17.
Nice. Wow.
All right, guess that hits too.
It does.
Yeah.
How many D8s do you need?
I'm not smiting yet. I'm seeing if I can just drive it off with this.
All right.
So, Jacob, you are at this point
So-
probably at the base of, let me just say
Yeah.
perspective. You're at the base of one of those wagons that
Okay.
keeps animals in it. And you're quite aware that, these things have all been unlatched and the big cats are moving around.
Not busted out, like actually open.
Something opened, like flip the latch open, slid it to the side so the doors could just be opened again. And as you are standing right there, a lion bounds through that area into another area. Just goes right by you and just keeps on.
So they're
going.
not all targeting Inda. They're
It did, and so it wasn't running towards her. It was just going in.
No, it was at an oblique angle.
I do call out as soon as I see that. It's like, it was definitely sabotaged. These gates have been opened, not busted out.
Boris, roll your damage.
Yeah, first one I rolled, and why I was trying to interrupt you is max, so that's 16 slashing.
Good grief.
And second one, one off of max for another 15 slashing.
There is very good
Wow.
energy on this table right now.
There really is.
I am paladin, God on my side, and God say, whack
Suck
the
it.
thing.
God says, suck it. Are you able to smite non-evil things, or?
I'm able to smite anything.
So that was
I
just
can smite an angel if I want.
that was just now 31 points of damage. Yeah, that's pretty hard.
Inda. Is there? What do you use to train the animals? Is there a sound? Do they come for treats? What do you use to train them? How do you get them back?
I'm not sure you're gonna be able to like have all that coming out, or before your own round, you'll be able to say things or do things on your round. But if you can make that more succinct in this moment of combat.
Inda, what do you use to control
But
them?
wait till you get to your round though. So on 12,
Roll higher then.
yeah.
Don't forget to add your decks.
So actually it's 14, 13. On 13, another big cat comes into this area, and it is a tiger. And as that tiger bounds into this area, touchdown and leaps, Zelen, you're most aware of that as Boris and this thing are engaged with each other, and Inda is turning like she's about to attack it herself. and not do something to control it. But as that tiger jumps in, touches down, it has a reaction to where this fight's taking place and actually seems to shy away, do an about face and run, like on its round.
Interesting.
That when it encountered whatever this thing is, it did not want to, I'm going to join this party and start attacking these things. It's just getting out of there right now. But she attacks on 12. And she hits it.
She hits her own cat.
She hits the cat that's right here. Ooh, and she does really good damage. Yeah.
Oh, man.
So everybody on our side's rolling hot.
So far, we've seen lions and tigers and jaguars. Dang it.
Oh, my.
Oh, my.
But does do a good bit of damage. Zelen.
What do you do to control these animals?
And she's yelling over her shoulder at you. We train them individually. But she's right in the fight.
Yeah, so she doesn't know. I'm going to cast. Can I?
If you're already using one concentration spell.
I don't have a concentration
Oh,
spell.
Detect magic.
So can I cast conjure animals? Because then I could cast a group of mastiffs, and I could cast 8 of them, I think, and send them out to round up the cats. Because I would think, mastiffs they're kind of scary dogs. I think that they might kind of be able to round them up. But am I allowed to do that?
On your action, you can cast a spell.
They're fey. So what I'm asking is if I cast a group of mastiffs and say round up the cats.
It depends on the write-up of the spell. Like it'll tell you what kind of orders you're able to give them.
It says I can cast 8. I can call up 8 beasts of a challenge rating of 1/4 or lower. Mastiffs are. The summoned creatures are friendly to me and my companions. They obey any verbal commands that you issue to them. No action required by you. If you don't issue any commands, they defend themselves from hostile creature, but otherwise take no actions.
Yeah, the only issue that I potentially see with that is they might just get attacked by the.
Yeah, I believe that they might get attacked, but it would then they're fey and it would.
Yeah, I like the idea.
So yeah,
Right.
that's like a great action on your round.
All right.
Go for it.
Okay, so I'm going to drop detect magic, and I'm going to cast conjure animals, and I'm going to conjure 8 mastiffs.
Nice.
And I'm going to tell them to go round up the cats.
Nice.
And they sprint in every direction, ducking under these things, and they're barking and baying, and there's just pandemonium just all over the place right now. It's just absolutely nuts all in this area. People are coming to the area too.
Druid of Chaos.
Now that's a t-shirt.
Right?
But they're starting to herd the animals back around.
Start your own circle of chaos and stop being a circle of the land.
And unlike wild animals, animals that have been in zoos for a long time, they know that their safe place to go is often into their cage. So it'd actually be a lot easier to herd them back into their own cages than it would be if it was just a wild animal.
Can I do anything else?
That was probably
You
your
could
whole
move
action.
or take a bonus action.
Yeah.
Let me see. Hold on. Because is that cat dead?
Oh, no.
Oh.
No, far
But you've
from
already
it.
used your action. You have a move is what you can do.
No, I was going to do a bonus action and heal the cat if they killed it.
If we killed it, healing it wouldn't do anything
Oh,
It's very true.
because it'd be dead.
Okay. Never mind.
All right, so that was down at 6. Jacob up at 16.
All right, cool. If I'm at the base of this cage, I believe climbing is like half your movement speed. So if it's only 12 feet tall, I got 15 feet as half
Yeah,
my
so you
speed.
can easily take position up on top
I'll
of
get
there.
up on top. What do I see as soon as I'm up here?
There's
One.
actually a large tree on top, and you can just teleport.
Dang it!
Why did I do that?
How they move that cart?
You meld into a stump real quick. You can see one, as you're taking all of this in the distance, you can tell that it's starting to be realized out in the main pavilion area and where those 3 notable, like, tent pavilions are, that they're aware that something's happening over here. And a lot of attention is starting to move in this direction. It's like
Watch
a
you get
surge
arrested for being at the
happening
scene of the
all at
crime.
once.
Yeah,
well, you're actually on the far side of that. You're the actual skirmish right now in this tent city area is between where you are and where the actual pavilion is. So that's moving all in this direction. You can see down into it that there are a whole bunch of dogs that just came out of nowhere, and they are starting to chase the animals around. And you've already seen one of the big cats jump back up into its own cage. It's its wheeled cage wagon. And even though the door isn't closed, it seemed to be staying right there.
Okay.
And the dogs seem to run around. They're barking. But you can see that it looks like Boris and Inda Nur are engaged with this large jaguar adjacent to you, about 20, 25 feet away.
Okay. I'll start with that. I'll take a shot at the jaguar that they're fighting. Regular arrows. 24 to hit.
Hits.
I love that there's no penalties for shooting into melee anymore.
Right? And, 12 points of damage.
All right, noted.
And still up?
Oh, yeah.
All right.
That's a lot of damage that cat's taken. I wonder if they've magically enhanced it.
Yeah, it is. And honestly, it doesn't seem to be in any way even deterred by any of this that's happening.
Okay, then I guess I'll shoot my other arrow at it as well.
Understood.
And, 12 to hit.
As it does. It hits exactly. It needs that 12. It only has an armor class of 12, but you snapped one of the ropes between you and it, and more of these sheets come down where it's a clear passage to see into that area.
Cool.
Nice.
All right. So, damage max.
Ooh.
Nice.
That is 14
We
points of
pumped
damage.
a lot of damage into this thing.
So yeah, you
Uh-huh.
just did 26 points of damage total just now?
Yeah.
And I did 31, and Inda did 8 plus whatever her
11.
modifier is.
And
Yeah.
and it's still going strong.
Still going strong. Yeah.
No, it's a big cat.
Spooky.
Yeah, I don't think
This is
so.
big
I
even
think
by
there's
big
something
cat
wrong.
standards.
Yeah.
This is getting closer to like cave bear.
Do I
Boris.
see any other instances of like where individual people are being attacked by the animals while I'm up here? Or is it all just like they're wreaking havoc? No one's particularly getting attacked?
Yeah, no one is being attacked as such. As long as there's a way for one of these big cats to get out, they're going to go for wherever the out is, and they're much less likely to attack, unlike a wild animal that probably at this point it's so confusing, they'd want nothing more to get back into their cages.
Okay.
But
Alright.
Boris at 15.
Yeah. I feel I have confirmed my suspicions of wizard shenanigans, so it is smiting time.
All right.
Go ahead and get my D8s ready for you.
That is an 11 versus armor class.
Oh,
And second one, that's better. Natural 19.
What did the first one do?
Missed at an 11.
Yeah, that one hits.
Okay. Yeah. Can I borrow 3d8?
there's 2.
Dankeschön.
one.
Dankeschön.
Bitteschön.
All right. So that is 9 slashing and 8 radiant.
Yeah, that's big.
That's big. That's a lot of damage.
Yeah, but what does it do? That's the question.
He turns into
If
butterflies.
it's a fiend or an undead, it takes an additional d8 radiant. So do I need to roll another one?
No, you do not.
If you hit one of the mastiffs, you would.
Well, that's fey, not fiend or undead.
Oh, I thought you said Fey. Never mind.
Nah.
All right, so
If it's a demon critter or a dead critter.
its attack, and I'm double checking, but I believe it can attack multiple things in one form. Yeah, I'm not seeing if it can use 2 attacks or 2 claw attacks against 2 different foes or against just one
You can have it.
foe.
You can have it targeted as many creatures as
Yeah.
it can make attacks.
I
So if it
think
can
it
make
is.
15 attacks, it can target 15 creatures or one very screwed creature.
Claw attack.
Very screwed.
Claw attack against Inda Nur.
Okay.
Yeah,
Did you roll a 1?
I rolled a natural one.
Oh, it dropped its
It
claws.
dropped its paw. And the other clawing attack is also against Inda Nur.
See, that's what it gets for not being on our side.
I guess so.
It does not get to benefit from the table power.
And hits Inda.
Ooh,
Table
Oh, that's not
power.
good.
Table power.
What, an altar?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
And does damage to Inda Nur.
I am fine with this being my altar of nerd.
Yeah, no.
Is it my turn yet?
No.
It is now
Inda's
Inda's
turn.
right.
Inda's turn. Yeah, she's attacking back.
I'm glad I was correct.
Answer that.
And she misses.
Aw.
Is it my turn now?
It is your turn now.
What is she
I'm
using?
going to cast a spell.
A dagger.
I'm going to cast a spell magic. Choose one creature, object, or magical effect within range. Any spell of 3rd level or lower on the target ends. For each spell of 4th level or higher on the target, make an ability check using your spellcasting ability.
You were using Detect Magic at the beginning. He said there was nothing magical.
But oh,
Yeah, so you know there's nothing magical involved.
there's nothing magical involved. How is it taking this much damage?
I would assume some kind of shapeshifting. Or it just looks like, it's,
But
a
wouldn't-
hellcat. Or,
But
whatever.
wouldn't that also be magic if it's shape shifting?
Depends on the kind of magic. Yeah, if it was disguise self, yes. If it's got an innate shape-shifting ability, no.
So then what's your action going to be instead?
Or if it's using
I don't know. I didn't have a backup action.
I wasn't ready to be wrong.
Thump it.
Find a spell that does damage and do damage to it.
Bop it. Twist it. Pull it. One of them.
Immolate. Immolate's what we're going with right now.
Okay.
Well, wait a minute. Let me see how narrow I can cast that.
Wherever you are in this area, even though part of one of these canvases have come down, you're within your move to wherever this melee is happening.
All right. So I'm going to cast Moonbeam, but I'm going to angle it very carefully so it just, even if I have to angle it so it's behind the cat, so it just hits the cat. Here's what's important. A shapeshifter makes its saving throw with disadvantage. So then
Wow.
we'll know.
Why? Does it say why?
If it has to roll, so if the cat has to roll more dice, we know it's a shapeshifter.
Does it?
That's metagaming to a T, but I like your style.
Well, also the second sentence in that paragraph.
Yeah. So, okay, I'll read the thing. A silvery
All right.
beam of pale light, blah, blah, blah. When a creature enters the spell's I'm too excited. When a creature enters the spell's area for the first time, it's engulfed searing pain. A shapeshifter makes its saving throw with disadvantage. If it fails, it also instantly reverts to its original form and can't assume a different form until it leaves the spell light. On each of my turns after you cast the spell, you can use an action to move the beam.
That's interesting. So that sounds really cool. So yes, as you're doing that, the like to put it in a circle, you could say that Inda is like at 6 o'clock and Boris is at 9 o'clock. So you can set it so it's gonna like hit from that other
Right,
corner. Yeah.
exactly.
So I'm rolling a saving throw against what's my DC then?
Too high. Spell save DC is 16.
And
it's
But
a-
it's at a disadvantage.
It's
if it doesn't-
disadvantage and it's dexterity based. Is that what you said?
I don't know.
Okay.
Yeah, it's a
It
dexterity.
just
No,
says a
it's
shape chamber
Constitution.
makes its saving throw with disadvantage. That's all it says.
It'll say the top.
The paragraph above that. When a creature enters the spell's area for the first time or starts its turn there, it is engulfed in ghostly flames that cause searing pain, and it must make a Constitution saving throw. It takes 2d10
Okay.
radiant damage on a failed save or half as much damage on a successful.
All right. So
He's got 2 dice. in
2
his hand.
dice.
or he's just rolling 2 just to mess with us.
Well, it's I mean,
Well, we'll know
disadvantage.
if it fails and it changes back into
Oh, I see what you're saying,
a
yeah.
True.
demon or whatever.
But no, she said that spell changery things are at disadvantage.
As I was saying, you could also just be rolling 2 dice just to mess with us because.
could be. Yeah.
Ah.
I think the mess with is over.
Oh gosh.
An 18 and a 3. It failed its saving throw.
Yay!
What's your
So
damage?
what's it revert into?
It takes 2d radiant damage on a failed save.
Yep.
So I roll these 2, right?
Yep. Do both of those. Yep.
All right, here
Roll
it
high.
comes.
Roll big. 2 zeros. That's what you want to see.
1 and 6.
Okay,
Not
7
quite.
points of damage. You blast it with this thing. It actually takes fairly minor damage. It wasn't too big. But it, I suppose, instantly changes back into a humanoid form. It is a man. And let me do the math for the damage real quick. And I believe his gear is still on him when he changes back. Because it talks about when it's in its humanoid form or if it's in its other form, its hybrid form.
Yeah, I'm not
Because
sure.
it has weapon attacks, so it has to have its weapons with it. Yeah, we're going to go with that.
Works for me.
Yeah.
Otherwise, it's just an embarrassing
It's
fight.
just a naked guy.
Well, it goes from me fighting a creature to me butchering some guy. And while I've been toying with the idea of Boris falling, I'm not sure now's the time.
All right, that's a great one. And how long does the actual light last?
1 minute.
Okay, wow, 1 minute.
Oh,
What?
it's a concentration spell.
Yeah.
So is conjure animal.
Oh.
Oh.
So either you've got the dogs or you've got the beam.
I'm going to release the dogs and do the beam. Because the dogs were already hurting
Release the house.
Because the dogs were already hurting the animals back
Yeah,
into
okay, fair.
place. So the animals might now, at this point, just keep running towards their cages
I got
just
it.
because of the chaos and confusion.
And you don't want to cross the beams.
Yeah.
You guys make these references that really mean nothing to me.
That wasn't even the right use. All right, that was at 6.
Who rolled my gosh?
That was at 6, and that being doesn't have a round until
Yeah.
14.
Yeah, we're back up to
Yeah,
Jakob.
so Jacob up at the top.
All right, cool. Any update on the dogs that have now disappeared, but like the animals running back to their cages?
That there's still a lot of chaos. There
Taking
are people
pot
seem to be
shots
handlers that are moving into the area, and they're hurting things this way and that. But again, once one of these animals are confronted, most typically the best spot for them to go is up into their cage.
Okay.
Nothing messes with them when they're in their cage. So
I
they're,
bet these animals were just released to hide this thing.
Yeah, that's what I'm...
Makes sense.
So, yeah, I'll continue to fire. Does the guy still look combative?
oh yeah,
Okay, then I will fire at him. 22.
and that hits.
Cool. And I do
Wonder if
lots
his
of
armor
damage.
class is any better.
Maybe.
Something Colossus Slayer, something.
Oh, dang it, Victor. You are so correct.
Something bonus action.
Something bonus action.
Is he below his hit points?
Something complete.
So with that, we've actually been doing that wrong. You get that damage once a turn, not
Once
on
a
every
turn,
attack.
yeah. Okay, so I'm not just buying time while I look up the
Hunter's Mark.
Hunter's Mark.
It adds a
It's-
d6.
Yeah, and the Colossus Slayer, since it's below its hit point maximum, does an extra d8. Wow, that's a lot more damage. All right, cool.
You're frickin' welcome.
Lay it on me.
So 16 points of damage.
All right, taken.
And then my other attack, I'll in between those two, I'll use the bonus action to cast Hunter's Mark on him. And then I'll do a 17 to hit.
And hits.
Oh,
Nice.
yeah.
Wow. Gosh, his pluses are just outstanding.
18 more points of damage.
If I increase my strength by 1, he and I have
and
the same
that's
pluses.
with you always ask, are they below their maximum hit points?
Yeah, so
That's
I
what
only get to do
thing-
that once per round. So
okay.
I rolled 2 dice because one of them was my Hunter's Mark that time.
Okay, just making sure.
And you just did 34 more points to it.
Yep.
Yeah.
Unless I killed him, in which case it was unlethal.
It-
Non-lethal.
It is not dead.
Double backwards anti-lethal.
Double backwards anti Mr. Dr. Professor Patrick.
Victor, or rather, Boris. Go ahead.
I'm there.
Disappears.
What the heck?
Starts getting mauled.
Yeah, right. It's like, huh.
A spot just opened up on the podcast, listeners.
No, me and Boris
Boris is
just
suddenly here.
Yeah, it's like guy in armor.
Covered in blood.
He attacks the microphones in the overhead line.
Yeah, so attacking.
Thought it was a will-o'-wisp.
You're right. Okay, first attack is an unnatural 20.
Good
nice.
to hear.
That hits.
Second attack
That slaps.
is an unnatural 21. Yeah, it slaps
Nice.
with the sharp club.
Bap, bap.
Um,
Both hit.
yeah, can I get
More D8s?
yeah, 3d8 please?
There's one.
I'm using my other second level slot with the first one,
Okay.
and then I'll use a first level slot with t'other. Okay, that is 14 slashing and 8 radiant. And then the second one does.
That's more like it.
Oh yeah, whoa yeah.
Oh, here it goes.
One off a max, so that's 15 slashing and 16 radiant.
I would like to be known that both of my dice rolled max.
Right?
2 8s.
Yeah. Speaking of that,
Boxcars.
I'm glad that you note that all the time. And that what did that black die roll of mine?
Last one, one.
Yeah, yay.
Well,
The
my
one
die,
I let-
one of my die also rolled a
Did
1.
very little damage to it. Okay. All right. This is the first
speaking
time
of that slaps.
he's actually looked like that really took the wind out of him. That hit him so hard that he looks like he is in real trouble at this point. But then his own round comes at 14, and so he couldn't change when he's in that light. Can he move out of that
He starts
light?
his turn in it. Is this the next time he takes damage from
Yeah,
it too?
so he takes damage.
Yeah, so I
again.
guess he would have to take damage just standing in it until he can
You
move
roll
out.
2d10 again. And does he get? He gets another Constitution, or is that just a one-time?
Yeah, you tell me, Zell. I'm going to roll it again.
When a creature enters the spell for the first time on a turn or starts its turn
Okay.
there,
Okay.
it is engulfed in ghostly flame that causes searing pain, and it must make a Constitution saving throw. It takes 2d10 radiant damage on a failed or half on a success.
So it sounds like
like
I
you get
still
a-
have my. I get to save this round. And
Sounds like you get
But
another
I'm
one,
thinking
yeah.
I'm still at
Yeah,
disadvantage
he is
because
still a
you're.
shape changer because that's a neat
because
twist.
that hasn't changed. And what was the DC again?
You said 16?
16.
16.
So he's at I think 3 is his plus on this one, and
He gets a
Yeah.
number.
a 13 and a 15. So at disadvantage, the 13, he fails a saving throw.
All right. Hey,
9.
better than last
All
time.
right,
Nice.
and he moves out of the area. You know what? I don't like it right here. I'm moving. He takes one sidestep.
Okay, so
Exiting a
he's-
threatened square.
Yeah, he's provoking attacks of opportunity.
I know
from
that
me
would
and
have
Inda.
you, doesn't it? I'm going to say, wait,
Well,
this is so unjust.
He's either disengaging and then taking a move, or he's attacking and then moving, and we get attacks of opportunity.
Yeah, it would make more sense for him that he would attack and then move, because he knows where he is and how this is.
I look forward to beating him in response to missing me.
He was going for. He is again going for Inda Nur.
Wow.
Mm.
You know, say what you want about this guy. He's dedicated.
Yeah.
Ah,
Dedicated to missing.
dang. I don't like that die anymore. That was a big.
I
Wasn't
don't know. You should use it for Inda so that way it rolls a 20 on the next time.
it? All right, so
Crit yourself.
attack of opportunity
Yeah.
as he moves out of that.
Inda gets one
that
too.
area. Oh, yeah, I know. and Inda rolls an 18, 19,
16.
and she is above 20. Twist your damage.
I will
Boris.
spend another spell slot to smite. I've only got first level slots
First
now, so
level
it's just
slots.
2d8.
Oh, no. It rolled average, I think. I can't tell.
I'm gonna take the risk.
I can't see it.
And she did a hit for 7 points of damage.
And I did a hit for 11 slashing and 9 radiant.
Oh, boy.
And it drops.
I knocked
Oh,
him
Goes
unconscious.
below
good.
0.
And knocked him unconscious.
Yeah, I knocked him unconscious.
Knocked him unconscious. That's great.
I would immediately dispel your moonbeam because I don't think he actually got out of the area, so he might just get more fried.
Yeah.
Or don't dispel your moonbeam just to make sure that
Yeah, well, it only lasts a minute. We might just want to let
Leave
it run
it there
out
for-
on
He'll
its
probably
own
be
time.
very dead.
it's also a beacon that's drawing attention.
Yeah.
I'd prefer to interrogate him. Out and out murder is more my thing when it's undead or
I'll
a
release
wizard.
I'll release my moonbeam.
Okay, so
I've killed a lot of sentient creatures, actually. Never mind.
Yeah. Before I hop down, I want to take one last kind of look around the area.
See who's... Oh,
what
sorry.
was your
I
radiant
can't
damage
say
on the
anything
board?
to you
Was
too far
11
away.
slashing, and then how much radiant that last hit?
9 radiant.
So review for me the rules, how that works when
If
a
he's
thing-
reduced to lower than 0, he's reduced to 0.
Okay.
To die outright from damage taken, he needs to be reduced to negative hit points equal to his hit point maximum.
Okay, so he's not down that far.
Is
of
that just
course.
for creatures, or do they also make
That's
death
everything.
saves?
That's everything.
But you know,
No.
Technically, he's making death saves,
he's
but
making
he's
death saves.
unconscious, not dying, so he's stable.
yeah, which is why you also wanted to dispel your moonbeam, because if you take damage while you're making death saves, you
It's an
immediately fail
automatic
2.
fail.
Yeah.
No, it's one automatic fail.
Oh,
Crits are 2.
crits are 2. That's right.
Crit fails are 1, damage is 1, crit fails are 2.
So then, Zelen, do you leave it on for another round or do you not?
Do you want him fried? Do you want me to release?
Dispel it.
I release it.
All right, so then when he's making his first death save, right
He doesn't.
now?
He's unconscious and stable.
Okay, do that one again. Why is he unconscious and stable?
Because
when...
I chose to knock him out instead of killing
Oh
him.
yeah, because he dealt
Oh,
non-lethal
you were
damage.
serious.
Oh yeah, we want to talk to this guy.
Okay.
You really? You want to talk to him?
I would like to know who he is, yes.
All right, so he's unconscious. You can see that he's his chest is rising, falling. He's breathing. Inda Nur standing right there. And as different people that are staff on the circus approach, she says, "Get these tarps rescreened. I want this area cordoned off.
Bring bindings.
Get the Umber Hulks right here." And there's bindings all over the place. There's ropes
Yeah,
curled here
get
and
the
there.
Umber Hulks for sure.
And 2 Umber Hulks are moving in a position to take up station. And there's a surge that's stopping. It looks like there's a barrier of a couple of like tent layers away, like 2 tent layers away, and nothing else is approaching, through that. It's all right. We have the cats under control. Everything's stable right now. Yes, we had to do some magic just to make sure that everything was fine. No, there's no injuries, and just all this happening on the periphery of where you guys are.
This was against you, Inda. They were coming after you. The cats were just a distraction. I'm sure of it.
Before we get any further with that, what I'm doing with length of rope is tying his hands behind his back, putting the rest of the rope in a loop around his neck, then tying his ankles together with his knees bent. So if he tries to do anything with his arms or straighten his legs, he's going to start choking himself.
What about if he changes form?
If he does that, I'm just going to kill him.
Brutal. That was so just described. It was like I was just feeling bad for this guy, and he's fictional.
I beat him unconscious with a sword. I'm already a little past
And
that
everyone
point.
looks at, and that was the paladin that's doing this right
Lawful good,
now.
not lawful nice.
I'm looking up. There is no that I can find specific rope use in 5e.
Yeah, I don't
there is
think
no
there
use
is.
rope skill.
Yeah, because that was a handy one. In
I think it was always
previous
just based
editions,
on dexterity.
right.
So-
So what's your dex?
My dex is a 14.
That's a good
I guess
plus.
I'm rolling that. What you're doing is a DC. So go ahead and
Okay.
roll that as with your dex modifier.
10.
Yeah, that was actually the number I said. I thought if you can imagine that you start wrapping ropes that way,
Yes.
a person that was be more skilled at ropes, whoever that person is in this milieu, they could do a more efficient job. So you probably use more rope than you need to do this, but you've done it.
We flash back to Victor at Paladin School. Today, kids, we're learning rope torture.
Right. I'm not paying attention to this one.
It's not waterboarding if you use kerosene.
Wow! I climb off the cage and I go to save this man's life.
So what's the ruling then for how long does it take a person to regain their consciousness when they've gone into?
I have
they've
no
been
idea.
Do we
dropped
want to leave him
zero?
here? I mean, I don't know if we want to try to interrogate him here.
Well, If he straightens his legs, he's choking himself. So I think
Jacob,
we're
as far
a bit
as I know,
stuck.
you're still up on top of one of the cages and you're looking around.
Yeah, unless there's anything...
People are calling to you. That is, you recognize them as being staff for the circus, and they're like, "Do you see any of the cats in that direction there?" You know, they're getting wanting actual intel from you because you have a point of vantage right now.
I'll assist them as best I can.
So as you're doing that, it takes like a good 5-10 minutes, and then Boris is doing the rope stuff at the same time, to where it looks like two things. One, the cats have all been contained.
Okay.
Various handlers and roustabouts have secured the doors to the cages. It seems that their numbers are right. They're nodding to each other. What about this one? What about that? Yeah. So it seems pretty calm that those things are there. What about the dogs? I don't know about any dogs. There's no dogs here.
There were never any dogs.
But it also looks as though that the people that were just onlookers, and even some people who are those mercenary-looking types and robed individuals, are all being held a couple of tent layers away and not getting close to where this thing's bound up and the rest of the group is right now.
Okay. So
do you maintain your position up there?
no, once I'm confident that everything's been locked back up, I'll head back down to the group
All right.
through that lovely pathway that I created with that first arrow shot.
And just so you know, that your arrows hitting it did nothing to it.
Oh man,
Yeah.
stupid shapeshifters! I get my arrows back since they did nothing.
I guess they're just like stuck in him. He actually caught them between his arm and his chest. It looked like I got him.
So
they hit it and worked back out like
bit
Wolverine.
of 3.5 obscurus lore. Talking about Rakshasas, it actually like described it as they just like pass through.
Dang.
Oh wow, that'd be really weird. You actually hit somebody on the other side.
Well, that would have been a visual indicator a little earlier in the combat.
It would have been, yeah.
right?
That's we'll keep that in mind. It passes through, but then just drops to the ground without any forward.
Oh,
movement.
just like when you see ballistics jelly or whatever it's called when they're doing the
the bullet test.
Yeah, it's like it just shoots and you just see it just come to like a stop and just it makes it right to the other side and goes drops to the ground.
Yeah.
So a stable creature doesn't make death saves, even though it has 0 hit points, but it does remain unconscious.
Okay.
If the creature stops being stable, it must start making death saves again. A stable creature that isn't healed regains 1 hit point after 1d4 hours.
Oh wow, so he'll be unconscious for a long time. It sounds like.
Yeah, but rather than just leaving him to recover, I'm going to use Lay on Hands and give him, I'll be generous, a full 10 hit points.
All right, so at that 10, so from 0, he's at positive 10. He looks up at you, and he's obviously startled. And he looks over at Inda Nur, and she's still there. And you can see that there is a kind of a resignation on his face, and he recognizes that things are very bad for him because it is quite certain that he is with the Rhazia Wizards.
Thank you for listening. Follow us on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram at The Empire's Edge. If you enjoyed this story, find more on mattsinkovich.com or theempiresedge.com. Support the podcast on subscribestar.com/the-empires-edge.